Hey everybody, it's Andrew Martin, the Spiritual Rebel, coming to you with a new video. My first video of 2016. I can't believe that it's been 4 months since I've done a video. I can't believe that it's almost February. I can't believe that this weather today here in Seattle is gorgeous. It's been like spring lately, which is very bizarre. But I'm so happy that I finally found the time, the willingness, and the focus to do a video for you, all three at the same time. Over the past 4 months, I've had a lot of time, or I've had a lot of willingness, or I've had a lot of focus, but never all three at the same time. So here I am with my coffee on this beautiful sunny Friday, doing this video for you, and fingers crossed that this one, I can make it to the end with some sort of clear message that's meaningful and valuable, and that I won't have any technical difficulties. So if you're watching this, we made it. Success. I know that right now all of us are going through some crazy, intense insanity, whatever. It's just, it really feels like from 1 minute to the next. I mean, what I've been saying lately, people ask me, how are you, Andrew? What's going on? I'm like, you know what? Whatever I tell you now, ask me again in 5 minutes because it's going to be completely different. I feel like we're all going through such an intense time energetically right now. I do know that there are big shifts coming really soon. Like March through May, every single person that I have done a reading for over the past several months, every single person has come up with something big March through May. And it hasn't ever really been super specific. I've just seen March through May as a big, powerful energy corridor. So, again, our job is to trust. Our job is to have faith. Our job is to be in the moment and to just trust that we'll know what to do when we're required to do it. And also that there is stuff going on behind the scenes. A lot of the heavy lifting that's being done right now, it's all happening on an energetic, multidimensional level. It's happening. And just because we can't see it, again, it's the result-oriented focus of the mind, the brain, the small self mind always wants to see it, right? It's, show it to me and then I'll believe it. It's the seeing is believing. And we know that that's just not the way it works. So even if we're not seeing the physical results and manifestations of the progress that we hope for, it doesn't mean it's not coming. And it also doesn't mean that we're not in the midst of it. This is something that's been coming up a lot lately too, is that the experience of not having something is actually the first part of having it. And I've touched on this in my previous videos. And so I just want to reiterate this point, is that not having something is the beginning stage, the first step of having it. Because unless I am without it, right? Unless I have the experience of not having it, how will I ever be inspired to want it, right? And to desire it. For me, with my coffee, one of the first things I do when I wake up in the morning, one of the first thoughts I have is of coffee. And if it weren't for the fact that I didn't have it when I woke up, I wouldn't desire it. I know that's a rickety metaphor. It's actually more of my caffeine addiction that that calls me to desire the coffee. But even that, right? The physical experience of having coffee, my body craves it, and the only time my body craves it is when it doesn't have it. So just remembering that even though we don't see physical progress in the, touch it, taste it, feel it, smell it world, doesn't mean that there's not progress happening. But the most important thing that I want to leave you with today is, regardless of where we are, regardless of what's happening, regardless of our experience, because what we're going to be seeing now, starting, now, and what we are actually experiencing and what we have been experiencing this whole past month, but what we're going to see now that Mercury's gone direct, and now that we've had this really powerful full moon, and the Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year is coming up in February. So everything is really moving us in this direction, and it has been moving us in this direction. But what we're going to see now is more than ever is everyone's experience is going to continue to become more and more specific and unique to who they are and who the essence of the soul essence, the vibratory essence, the reason that we came here, the calling, the mission that we accepted when we came into this life is more than ever really going to start to coalesce and to emerge and to show itself to us and reveal itself to us And that's part of where we are right now, is each of us, we've been, we came together as a tribe in 2012. We all had these experiences of upheavals, and a lot of them were very, very similar. And we all sort of connected and found strength and solidarity and unity in the fact that we were all going through this process kind of together as a group. And then as these energies have increased and continued to carry us upward, and we have continued to do our work and our commitment, some people have fallen off, right? Some people have agreed to leave the planet, to exit physicality. Some people have decided, I'm not ready for this. I'm going back to, I'm going to turn the lights off and put my head back under the covers. And so everyone, according to their plan, is experiencing exactly what they have what they've decided to experience. What that means is that as we proceed, we're going to see ourselves more and more having these sort of drastic reorientations. So suddenly moving, suddenly a new job, suddenly a new relationship, suddenly friends and people that we used to hang out with, we don't anymore. And it's happening pretty rapidly, and it's taking us each individually in our own direction. So what that means is that for a lot of us, we're not finding the answers in the way that we used to find them. The sources of information, whether it was blog postings or videos or, friends or colleagues or people that we would have readings with, healers or psychics or intuitives or whatever, those old ways aren't really working anymore, because now we are being called to find our own unique resonance with the energies that we are experiencing. But there's some beauty there. Part of it is that we have reached a new level of mastery. Part of it is that we are in a new space. And so the reason the old stuff doesn't work anymore is because it's not available to us anymore. It's kind of like you go through college, you go through your 4 years and you go get your degree, and then you show up for work and you think, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. You're not going to go back to school, right? You're not going to go ask your professor, hey, remind me of what I do with this, whatever. What you're going to do is you're going to jump into your new job, accept the responsibility and the task that's at hand, and you're going to do the best that you can, relying upon what you know and what you already have. And that's where we are. It's not about going backwards. It's not about the old ways and the old habits and the old patterns and the old beliefs. It's not even about, for myself in my practice, the work that I am doing now is so evolved and so expanded, and the stuff that I'm doing now with my clients is blowing my mind, just in the intensity and the detail and the clarity of what's coming through, and the power of the energy that I feel coming through when I'm doing a session with a client. And even they are saying like, wow, Andrew, that was like next level energy. This is all new to me. I don't, from my physical experience as Andrew in this lifetime, what I'm doing changes moment to moment. And the only way that I am able to do the work for my clients is to show up in the moment, be a beginner every time, and know that the way that I used to do things doesn't work anymore. And that requires me to show up completely open and vulnerable, and completely tuned in to the flow, completely tuned into the moment, completely tuned into the field that I am within and that I am working with, and allowing it to show me what it needs, or what the person or the group or the collective needs from me in that moment. And that's what I do. And we're all in this space right now where it's not business as usual. We're not necessarily going to be able to rely on the way to do things that we used to do things, and we're not going to really be able to cheat on our neighbor's paper anymore. I mean, I know for myself, I really used to look at the experience of others as sort of a gauge or a barometer of where I was, or to give me some insight or maybe an idea of like, oh, okay, well, that worked for them, I'll try that. And sometimes it worked, but more often than not now, it's not. If it's not something that I draw from within myself, it's not something that I allow to emerge from my own inner space, it's not really going to work, because the only thing that is tailor-made for me is what I've got going on energetically internally. So it is up to me to really dig into my inner space, to clear it, and to allow what I need to emerge. Do you follow me? So here's the point. Because, I always want to try to give some practical things, right? I always want to give a tool or a technique or a trick or an idea that you can walk away with to help you. And that can be tricky when we're in this situation where everyone's experience is so unique to them, and we are all stepping into our mastery, and we are all beginning to encapsulate our lives and our experiences as part of our energy field, we are beginning to realize that there is not, we always say there's nothing outside of you, you're not separate, but we haven't really lived it, or we haven't been required to live it, but now we are. So here's the thing. 3 things: awareness, faith and trust, which is sort of one thing, faith/trust, and alchemy. Awareness is about just bringing our awareness and our focus to the moment now, wherever, whenever, however we are, in whatever moment we find ourselves within. Our awareness is all that is required to get what we require. So in those moments that we feel lost or unsure or not really clear or don't know where to go or what to do, or, have some choices and we can't quite figure out which is the one that we want, which one is better, which one is right, which one, I don't know. The question is, how can I bring more of my true self? How can I bring my true self to this moment right here? When we ask that question, a couple of things happen. Number one, we immediately bring ourselves to the current moment. If I'm in the past worrying about what happened to, last week or last month or 5 years ago, I'm not here. If I'm in the future tripping about, rent is due in 2 days, or what about this bill, or what about this job or this relationship, or what about that, I'm not here. When I take myself out of the moment, the answers will always elude me. And I've talked about this before. Guidance and intuition and inspiration always only ever comes in the current moment, because that's all there ever is. In the multidimensional non-physical realms, time is an illusion. There is no yesterday or tomorrow. It's only now. So the guidance, the stream, the flow, the co-creative juice that I have to draw upon is always only ever present now. So when I ask that question, how can I bring more of myself to this moment right now? I immediately bring my awareness back to this moment. I line myself up with the flow of co-creation that is occurring. I create a space for the guidance and the power and the energy and the juice or whatever to emerge within, because that's all we've ever got, right? All of this out here is the illusion. This is the hologram. So as I draw upon what is occurring inside, by bringing myself to this moment, I allow the awareness to emerge within me. And that's when I get my insight. That's when I get my intuition. That's when I get my answers or my guidance or what to do next. Because it's always only ever in the flow of the moment. And for those of us that are still sitting around waiting, when is this going to happen? When am I going to be this? When is that going to happen? Where's the golden trumpets? Where's the galactic beings? Where's, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph? Where's Archangel Michael? Where's the thing that's going to save me? I'm going to say this as compassionately and as clearly and as honestly as I can. Because you owe it to yourself to hear this truth. If you are still sitting, waiting, poking on a blog, reading a book, looking at a video, praying for something, if you still believe that something outside of you is going to come and save you or make it all better, you're fucking deluded. I love you, but someone has to tell you. No one thing, experience, paradigm, construct, institution, person is outside of you. We are all connected. We are all of the same stuff. We are all in the field together. There is no separation, so therefore there is nothing outside of me. That's not the way. Ascension is not a thing that physically happens. It is a state. It is when I have created a space within me to house the vibrations of the higher dimensions, to house the vibration of unconditional Christ love energy, to house the crystalline cosmic vibrations of whatever it is that I want to tune into. When I allow a place for that within my field, then I become a match for what I seek, and then I immediately become part of what I seek. It's an internal thing. It always has been. It always will be. There is nothing outside of you that is going to change anything. Awareness is the key. No matter what I'm going through, no matter what I'm experiencing, I bring my awareness to this moment now. I ask that question, how can I bring more of my true self to this moment right here? Immediately, I am energetically transported back into this moment, and everything opens up again because I am aligned with all that is, because I am all that is. So my awareness is first. Then the faith and trust that whatever it is that I require in that moment will reveal itself to me. And that's when we start to say, like, I don't know why have a impulse to go here. I don't know why I'm compelled to talk to this person. I don't know why I need to record this video. I don't know why I need to go ask that person a question, or, whatever, or pick up that book or make that phone call or whatever. All I need to know is that in the moment, when I allow a space for it to merge by my awareness and my presence, it will always emerge. That's the point. That's the promise. Is that if I don't have it in the moment, I don't have it because I don't need it. So what I require, access to what I require, is always in the moment. And my faith and trust that the longer I align and the more I can expand and tune into the current moment, the more my awareness of the present moment will grow and expand. The bigger the field's going to get. And then I can just trust and have faith that what I need will present itself to me. And then here's the alchemy piece. Alchemy is the act of taking what we have and using it to create what we want. This is the other thing. The universe is not going to hand deliver a suitcase full of $1 million to you to take all your problems away. Unless you create that from your present moment awareness using your alchemical tools of manifestation, of intention, of energetic work, of breath work, of meditation, of all of those things that we've been working on. Do you think that all of these tricks and tips and gifts and ideas and exercises and awareness, this wasn't just for, nothing is wasted. This didn't come to us just because. It is our toolbox. It is our energy tool set that allows us to create what we desire from what we have. That's alchemy. I take a lump of this, a cup of that, a sprinkle of this, and I mix it all together. I put some intention and some energy into it, and bam, now I got a big old hunk of gold. That's what alchemy is I take what I have to create what I want. In order to take what I have to accept it. I have to be in the present moment and bring my awareness to it. I have to understand that as long as I perceive something as outside of me, it will continue to support the perception that it is outside of me. This is like Law of Attraction 101, but it's real and it's true because now that I'm in these clearer, higher, more pure vibrations, man, the lag time between, desire and creation and when it actually manifests is like disappearing by the second. It gets smaller and smaller, and manifestations and actualizations are almost instant now for a lot of us and in a lot of ways. And as long as I think that something is outside of me, it will continue to support the perception that it is outside of me and I will never have it. It will never be part of me. So what I have to do is in any given moment, when I perceive that something is outside of me, I'm unworthy, it's unworthy, I don't love it doesn't love me, I can't have it doesn't want me, it's impossible, it can never be, I can't have this, I don't do, whatever. Until I let go of those old ideas, unhitch, unhook, untether from that old small human self identity, until I accept that the only thing that I have to do is when I perceive something as outside of me, I can expand my energy field to contain it. Because the only reason that anything is ever perceived as being outside of me is because I've deemed it as unlovable. Either I think I'm unlovable or it's unlovable. I'm unworthy or it's unworthy. The end result is the same, that we perceive ourselves in resistance to it, and so we keep it at an arm's length. So the only way that I'm ever going to be able to include something in my vibration, include it in my experience, is to accept it as it is. Then, the minute that I accept it as it is, I draw it into my field, I expand my energy around it so that I can contain it, and then I can start to create from it. I accept it. I say, wow, this shitty situation, I don't like this. But you know what? The only thing that's going to change this shitty situation is to accept that the shitty situation exists right here, right now, and that I had a hand in creating it and bringing it to myself. And bam, now that it's in front of me, now that I've included it in my field, now that I've said, come on in, shitty situation, we got some work to do. We're going to transform you into a desired situation. I accept it into my reality, into my field, and then I can begin to work with it. Alchemy says you use what you have to create what you want, and there's no other way to do it. And inherent, implied, intrinsic, woven into that statement of the only way I get what I want is to accept what I have and use what I have to create what I want, means I accept responsibility for it. I own it and accept the part that I played in creating it, and I do the work. I'm willing to do the work. And whatever that work is, whether it's meditation, whether it's affirmations, whether it's, physical exercise, whether it is, just letting it go, being present in the moment, it always exists in the moment. So I say, okay, hello, shitty situation. Bringing my awareness to it right now, taking responsibility for the shitty situation that I have had a part in creating, accepting it as a part of my current reality. Bam, immediately it begins to shift. And in that moment that I bring my awareness to it, I say, hey, multidimensional aspects of who I am. Hey, guides, teachers, loved ones, teams, angels, whoever it is that I'm working with. I've accepted this shitty situation. Now let's recreate something else. Now let's turn it into something new. Now let's use a little bit of alchemy to turn this into a desired situation. How can I do that? And I guarantee you that when we bring our awareness to the moment, how to shift the moment comes with that awareness. Gosh, I really hope this video makes sense. I'm going to watch this, and if you're watching it, then it means that it was something that I felt was valuable. The past 4 months have taught me a lot about surrender, have taught me a lot about being in the moment, have taught me a lot about accepting what is in order to get what I desire. And it really, really is true. You can't keep kicking the can down the road. At some point, you're going to have to pick the can up and accept it as something that you're responsible for. And the minute that you do, it begins to transform itself and show you how you can use it. Nothing in this universe is wasted. We're not having these things that we perceive as a challenge aren't coming to us just because. They're coming to us because they have something that we've been asking for. So when it comes to me, when I accept it, it immediately begins to unfold and reveal itself. And I go, oh my God, look at this hidden gem, this treasure that was inside of this the whole time. Awareness, faith and trust, and alchemy. How can I bring more of my true self to this moment right now? Bam, in the moment. I accept what is. I have faith and trust that this is something that's either for me to hang on to and dismantle and keep a piece of, or I can just wholly accept it, examine it, and let it go to be transformed. Whatever it is, I will know in the moment. The minute that I bring myself to the moment is when I will receive the insight. The minute that I have the insight, then I use that insight to create what I desire. Alchemy requires us to accept what is, because what is becomes the building blocks, the fundamentals, the raw materials for what I want to create next. That's how it works. So thank you, as always, for watching. I hope that you're happy and healthy and smiling. I hope you've got some coffee if you like it. I love it. As always, you can go to my website, thelightones.com. I've been having some issues with my editing tool, so I may not be able to put up the captions But thelightones.com, look below in the description of this video on the YouTube. There will be my link to my website. I can help, and I'd love to. So don't hesitate to book a session with me. And hopefully, I'll be able to do videos on a more regular basis now. Now that I feel that things are starting to move forward and we're starting to unfold and starting to expand again, because it's always an ebb and flow. It just seems like this ebb was a pretty fucking powerful ebb, and it lasted a long time. But now that things are flowing again, and now that things are moving forward and expanding outward, hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more of these. That's it. I love you. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.